Elevate your new week, fuel your success. SSM invites you to kickstart each weekday with our news update, Between the Lines, featuring the week's top news and analysis, and the most attention-grabbing lines, Deciphering World Event.
Between the Lines, you are welcome. Mark Godwin Iwejuwan here in the Milan studio. SSM, Monday starters, Monday news starters. We call Between the Lines. And I'm here with my coordinators, correspondent from different parts of the world. In Lagos, Nigeria is our man, Ola Yinka Raji.
Good evening, Mark. I'm very well, thank you. And good evening, viewers around the world. I'm glad to be here again tonight.
Good. So, we hope the cholera is being contained. We hope people are no more dying. I mean, that thing has to stop. Raji, what's happening there?
I believe so. I haven't heard much news about cholera outbreaks for some time.
Okay.
So I believe it has been contained.
Keep it on hold. We'll come to that because the great man George Chukwu from Toronto, Canada is also here watching events, taking charge. George, how are you today?
I am awesome. Well,
Nice.
Mark Godwin, it's a pleasure to be here. Lion Karachi and viewers from around the world, we welcome you to our show today. It's going to be a fantastic one.
Beautiful. Beautiful. But you see, we can't be beautiful enough if we don't have one diva in our midst. So in our midst is our diva, Fiona Akanu, London, UK. Fiona, how are you?
Fine, thank you. Good evening, viewers. Good evening, Massive Mac, Sir George, Sir Raji. It's lovely to be here.
Good evening.
It's good to have you in our midst.
Yes.
George, we didn't ask Fiona what happened during the weekend with all those. I mean, it was too much coming from the UK. Change of government, the Queen doing this, the King doing that. Fiona, what's the update? What's happening there? Are you guys okay?
Yeah, we're fine. I don't know what you're talking about, so yeah, we're fine.
No, because
there's no cholera outbreak.
Yeah, there's no cholera outbreak. Because also some people I didn't know Rishi Sunak had some heavy followers too. Fiona, do you know that? So they are out on the street, they are complaining, they are saying, no, we don't want these Labour people, we don't want it, you know. So we're wondering, where were they when the votes were going on? Couldn't they have?
I think,
you know?
I think the issue here in the United Kingdom is that I think sometimes, you know, a change is as good as a rest, etc., etc. So I think people are just jaded with what's happened. I'm not so sure that it's Rishi Sunak. I think it's just the whole Conservative Party and what they've done. Traditionally, I think I'm a Conservative at heart. So obviously the results are probably not what I would have wanted. But, you know, it is whatever it is. Nothing's going to change. I've done a deep dive into the manifesto, and I can't see how they're going to implement the core changes in health, education, etc. So it's nothing. So it's just going to be another bunch of complaints in the next few years. So it's
another bunch of complaints. Okay, let's go into it. George, a lot is happening, so many things, but we will take the core headlines, core stories. The number one good one is it's kind of good news. Our president Tinubu has been re-elected as ECOWAS chairman for an additional year. George, is there something he's doing right in the organization that makes them favor him?
What do you think? I don't think there is anything he's doing right that made it, making them to favor him. I believe that they are in a very serious dire state right now, as it is. You see some of these other countries that are going away from ECOWAS, and because of the weakened state of ECOWAS actually. So whether the presence of Tinubu is helping things, I'm not quite sure it is, because these other nations, they come together and they are forming their own. While they were having a meeting yesterday in Abuja to re-elect Tinubu, these people were also, in Niger, trying to put themselves together to form their own alliances. So the thing is, and I know with the ECOWAS, they have just decided to bring a new currency, called ECO. or so yeah. So that's they're making some proactive moves, but already, as you have seen in the past few months, I don't think there is anything that can stop these other nations or to bring them back into the fold, unless something changes. But as it stands right now, that's how it is. So
as it stands right now,
we have a divided ECOWAS in West Africa.
Raji,
yes,
our man was re-elected another 1 year, and that decision was made on Sunday by the leaders of ECOWAS, representing about 12. I think it's about 12 member states.
12 member states, minus the
and it
three
happened right there in
left.
Abuja in their
yes,
63 summit. Now, Raji, do you think he be coming in for the second time? He will now bring in and stamp out his feet and bring in some real strong reforms.
What feet? What strong feet has he got? Where is he stamping? I think we're just reappointed for lack of a better option. For lack of a better option, that's all. Just because there's nothing. In fact, his first year was almost a calamity. His first pronouncement when he came in as if he had some power somewhere when he was trying to give orders. I think he was called to order by his senior cabinet. He said, "Look, you can't be jumping around like we are jumping around in Lagos. So this is so please, like my friend would say, cool temper."
Fiona, Raji just said it in the most hilarious way. I mean, but what do you think?
I agree. ECOWAS is not really, in terms of relevance globally, it's not really that important. Really,
yes, because I was going to ask you this.
Any longer. So
I was going to ask you, Fiona, this could provide him that opportunity to walk towards integrating. Remember Niger, Mali, Burkina Faso. Yeah, these countries have recently, they faced challenges
because they've had their military coups and all that. So already the union is fractured. So it's a bit of a toothless bulldog. It can't really, it really can't do anything. It's almost staggering, to its conclusion. So that they've re-elected him is actually nothing to report. It's nothing. As far as I'm concerned, it's just.
But also,
George,
one of the things they're doing to strengthening themselves. One of the problems we've had in West Africa is because of the insurgency, because of the terrorist attacks, and they have done absolutely nothing to curtail that. So right now, one of the decisions they made yesterday was basically to form a security force of 5,000 members, a military men, to help curtail some of these insurgencies. Whether it's going to work or not, I don't know.
Who are you referring to? Are you talking about ECOWAS? Are you talking about the other
ECOWAS.
Okay.
ECOWAS decided, they're going to do a security. One of the decisions they made yesterday was new currency called ECO, to put together a 5,000 man, military force to combat with the security force, with the insurgencies.
Stationed where?
Well, it's going to be
stationed.
Well, I don't know whether they're going to be stationed in a particular place, but it's going to be a force that they're going to put together to go against all the,
it's nothing.
Insurgencies.
How? What is the strength of the Nigerian army?
No, listen. It's a contribution from every nation. That's how it's done. They can be trained and then put together to go after wherever the insurgency is strongest. They can go after such a place. That's what I think they're trying to do.
How the logistics going to be?
When they meet together, I will call you so you can join me, so all of us can sit at the table and discuss it.
Because it's actually hilarious.
Anyway, in his acceptance speech, he said some things that I took note of. He said he's here now to serve, build a democratic value for Africa, and we hope he will do his thing. Because like Raji said earlier, maybe they had no other option, but if there are situations like this, the option they pick should be able to make a push, make an impact, because The willpower is there now. He has the support of the member states. Okay.
The problem we have is that with Tinubu right now as the leader of ECOWAS, is he did not start well at all. His exceptional acceptance was so weak and so bad that he's actually, remember what he did with Niger, cutting them off and basically destroying the people, in Niger, until the force came back and said you cannot do that, and then they had to scale him back. So for him to come out again to want to use sweet honey tongue to bring them back is going to be very difficult. And I'm telling you that right now, because these military men, they are ready to forge forward, and they're ready to bring other nations, among them, in order to form their own alliance together.
Yeah.
Thank you, George. All right, gentlemen and lady, let's go into something that's also on the board now, all news media reporting. I don't know if you all followed last week. There was this agreement. There was this signed agreement in an event called Samoa Agreement, and paper came out with some statement. The Daily Trust newspaper came out and said, Nigerians, listen, that agreement they signed has something to do with the LGBTQ, they signed it because they want to bring in the LGBTQ thing into Nigeria. So last night to this morning, the Minister of Budget and Planning came out and said, first of all, they'll be taking that newspaper house they'll be taking them to court for false news. Then also, I'm trying to bring out, then they will also make some statements. So he said, federal government did not do anything because of the lesbian, the gay, the bisexual, the transgender, and the queer people in Nigeria. They claim that $150 billion was given to Nigeria because of that reason is all false. So the minister clarified everything last night, and now we now understand. So we were following that news, so we now understand the nature of what it's all about. So I don't know, guys, do you have stories?
Listen to this. Before
we do, let's bring in Godwin. Let's bring in Godwin. Godwin from Moscow, Russia. You're welcome. Between the lines.
Thank you so much for having me.
Okay, welcome, Godwin. Okay, like I was saying before, listen, the thing is, you see, the style of the government that we have right now is almost a mixture of military and civilian rule. I don't even know where this honorable minister is coming from, threatening to take the newspaper to court. What impetus? Where did he get that from? How many times have if the government has been lying to Nigerians and have not been taken to court, and then they're going to, because maybe something happened and news some kind of way came out, and then they're threatening to take them to court. They have no right to do that. Number one, the government consistently have lied to Nigerians. Who is taking them to court? Up until today, we are still paying subsidy. They lied about it. Who is taking them to court? Consistently, they have made promises and have not fulfilled one. Who is taking them to court, and who is holding them onto account? And they're going to sue a newscast. And as a matter of fact, let me tell you something. There is absolutely no smoke without fire. What these people are reporting is written in there if we do our own investigation. So all this nonsense they are crying out. We have a constitution in Nigeria, but I can guarantee you, before that money was given to these people, on the line, go and read the fine prints there. Somewhere this is included. That's what they do.
Okay. Yeah, Fiona, go ahead. So you got the story, right?
Yeah. So it seems to me slightly strange that countries in the European Union would append themselves to something that was not anti-discriminatory. Now, the EU itself, actually, the LGBTQ plus agenda, it isn't actually enshrined within the EU specific legislation. However, there is an anti-discrimination law that's enshrined within that legislation. So for me, I find it strange that there would be an agreement that they would be party to or part of that doesn't have a clause about this current trending agenda. I find it strange. I really I find it almost unbelievable that there's no clause of a nature that's anti-discriminatory contained therein. I really find it difficult to believe, because at the cold face, the most basic thing, the LGBTQ and anti-discrimination agenda is enshrined in everything. So I'm surprised that they would be making an agreement with anybody and that wouldn't be there. That it surprises me. That's what I'll say. I wasn't able to get the document and see the fine detail of it, but looking at the members or that signed the agreement, it would be surprising. It's like if that was what I believed and that was what my constitution was enshrined in, it would be strange for me to have an agreement with a third party to something completely contrary to what. So I agree with what Sir George said, that surely there can't be any smoke without fire. Surely.
Surely there can't be smoke without fire, Raji. But we know where the beginning of this whole story.
Yes.
Remember, they had the Cotonou agreement. And it was from that Cotonou agreement, these partners all agreed and came to a framework, and adding the European Union. The whole aim is to promote, like they said, sustainable development, fighting climate change and all its effects, generating employment opportunities for Africans and those Caribbean countries that are involved. So, but what this paper was saying, Daily Trust, is that some amount of money was given to some of these countries so that they can allow the LGBTQ plus, into their system of governance and everything. So, Raji, let's hear you. Somebody is giving thumbs up for Fiona. Fiona, you said that very well. There's a thumbs up for you there, so you go home with that. Raji, let's hear you. Come on, Raji. Go ahead, Raji. Okay, I think Raji is frozen. Okay, Godwin, I think you're following what we're saying. Did you get the storyline?
Yes, I got the I got the general storyline, but I don't think I have all the details.
Okay.
So let Raji talk, and then I'll come in later.
Okay, Raji is back now. Okay, Raji, go ahead.
Now, my question is this.
Yes, we can hear.
Yeah. Okay, no, he's frozen. Okay, so like we're saying, that agreement has some clause to it, and George is also making us know that there's no smoke without fire. Daily Trust couldn't have come out without saying, without their investigation, So, but Godwin, do you agree that?
Yes. What you should understand is that when it comes to pressure, especially pressure of soft power, there's absolutely no limit to which they are willing to go, especially those who are used to unipolar hegemony. There's absolutely no limit to what they are willing to push to get what they want. And no one is really safe or off their reach when they really make up their mind to do something and there's a kind of consensus among their shareholders or power brokers. It is clear what we can establish as a fact is that there has been several attempts to push LGBTQ plus and other alphabets agenda across Africa. That's a fact. We can agree on that. Now, are they likely to do the same again? Yes, they are likely to do the same. Did they do the same? We don't have concrete proof for that. But you see, when you can choose how any country can choose however they want to live. If they decide that they want non-discrimination, they want everyone, they want to promote LGBTQ, they at the expense of traditional family values. It's fine. If the majority wants that, it's not a problem. But imposing it on another sovereign country like Africa, that is unacceptable. Your country, your rules, do it the way you want. But for countries that are conservative and respect traditional views, there's no reason to force such views on them, and that's my take on it.
Wow, and that's a good one. Straight up to the fact. Yes, Raji. Can you go ahead?
My concern is that is the $150 billion for Nigeria. Is it a loan? Is it a gift? Is it something to encourage us to go the LGBTQ YXZ route? Why? Because if it's a loan, I don't see why we should take a loan. If it is a gift, well, thank you, it's a gift. But if it's a gift to force us into that agenda, I don't think we should. It's something that we should follow. If the Western world could look at polygamy as something not acceptable, how can they expect us to look at bestiality, to look at man relationship as something acceptable? It is not. So whatever the case, and like I've always said, the government has been deceptive. The government is not telling us the truth, and the government is hardly ever able to convince us that it is not doing what it says it's not doing. And I believe in the doctrine of inverse relevance, where the government tells you that they are not going to do something while they are busy pursuing that same thing that they said they are not going to do. So I don't trust the government. The government has not given us sufficient space to trust them. And therefore, until we see the nitty-gritty of the agreement, I'll go with the Daily Trust News, Daily Trust report, that there's something hidden.
There's something hidden.
No, can I say something? Can I say something?
Yeah, go ahead, George.
You see, they started this a while ago, and they cannot give you this type of money unless you have agreed that you will do the best you can to bring that narrative into the community. For them to have accepted that money, because a lot of times Nigerians as a whole, we know each other. We hardly say no to anything. Even if it's not in your industry and somebody calls you to come and do something, you say, I will take care of it, until you get in there and start struggling, on how to be able to solve that issue. But I honestly believe that government saw that and it was discussed, and they have accepted that they will do the best they can in order to get that money.
I agree.
Because that money is not coming to you free like that. We remember Kamala Harris when she went to Ghana and wanted to bring that conversation. They shut her down. And they told her, don't bring that mess in our country. We don't want it. So, but they entice these people with all these kind of grants and money that they give to them. And that's what I believe that happened. Now, government is struggling and saying, where did you read that from? But I can guarantee you, if we look deep into it, you will find those clauses there. But our constitution still says that if you come out and want to be a man or a woman or change your sex, it's 14 years in prison. This is our constitution. It's telling until it is changed, they can take the money all they want to, unless they have to go back to the Senate and the House and want to change what was written before.
So Mr. Mark,
yes,
Mr. Mark,
yes.
just one point. Do you know that our total external debt is not up to $65 billion? So I'm still confused as how the whatever group that is giving the country $150 billion, what is the agenda? Because our total external debt is not up to $70 billion. So that's why I'm wondering, why are they giving us this much money? Why?
There's no free meal even in Freetown.
There's no free meal.
I understand that.
Before go on, let me just say this to George. I think George and Fiona have to take home their like Tom home. George, while you were speaking, somebody said good one, and there was a thumb up for you. Gentlemen, that's it. We have this situation, but the Minister of Budget and Planning, Atiku Bagudu, says it's all wrong. The newspaper house gave a false information, and they are taking them to court for that falsehood against the government, he says. But you guys are insisting there's no free food in the land of the Fufu land. Is it the Fufu land?
Yeah. Right, I also want to say one thing is that one thing I want to say is that we know about the independence of the court. Mm-hmm. We know that if the government comes against you, it's the beginning of trouble. Now, look at it this way. Okay. Look at the situation of the journalist. The government comes against you, you're in deep trouble. And then you probably don't have enough relations with external geopolitical powers to save you or to run away to or to seek asylum or refugee status. You know, it's you just basically languish in jail. And it's a huge risk. So we should value the courage and bravery of that whistleblower. Okay. Of the whistleblower. We as journalists know some of the prices we pay to have our opinions
free opinionated,
free opinions, even to the point of taking us down. So we have to understand that it didn't come that easy, and somebody somewhere was so much bothered by it and couldn't keep it to himself or herself.
Wow.
Dr. Ibe, are you saying that there is no freedom of press in Nigeria?
But no. Sir George, let's not play out this statement.
No. I'm just supporting him. I'm supporting Dr. Ibe. I'm supporting Dr. Ibe. But is that what you are you saying there is no freedom of press in Nigeria? That nobody can come and tell their opinion and get away freely with it?
I'm saying if you get to the point where the government is against you, the courts, for you to win in court, you have to have some unusual amount of grace following you.
Nice.
So that means this is the beauty of what we do here. Yes. The beauty of what we do here, SSM, is the true fact that we can come and tell our opinion, because we are scattered around the world. We are from different parts of the world. You can't come and choke us.
Let's look at somebody. Yeah, let's look at somebody. For example, Nnamdi Kanu. You may not like him. You may like him. It doesn't matter who you are. But the point is that the court said he should be released, and he wasn't released. And for whatever reason, the DSS had much more power than every other security branch in Nigeria. So
David also. You remember David run away from Tinubu? The same thing.
Listen, numbers are growing. It looks like a very special night. What you guys are saying. But we'll go on the break. But before we go on the break, let's do a small one. It's an observation. You see this thing out there on the screen? Do you see what's on the screen? Everybody, do you see that? George, you see what's on the screen? Peter B, with a blindfolded Wole Soyinka's face and all that. Do you see that picture? Tell me if you see it. I want to say something about it.
Yes, we see it.
Yeah, we see it.
That picture you see comes on every link sent from Nigeria. It's an observation SSM have made. We've observed that link, that picture you see, when somebody sends you a link of whatever it may be, from Facebook, YouTube, Twitter, that's what comes as the icon pics. Yes, we've been noticing it for 2 weeks now. So we asked somebody on ground, a journalist, said, listen, when you send your links to us from Nigeria, this is what comes out. And the storyline of what you probably sent is saying something else. But what they bring out as the icon photo is that picture. So we were wondering what's happening. Is it why that? And somebody said he has an explanation to it. So stick around. I hope the person will come in. There's something to it. It's intentional. It's not by error or anything. It's an intentional move by the government or somebody somewhere to give a false storyline. So this, if you observe your phones, your Twitter, your WhatsApp, all of you, mostly those of us in the diaspora, this comes as a link, as a picture link to most of the links they send, and it's intentional for something. So let's stay tuned till I hope the person comes in. But before then, let's go on a small break. See you on the other end. Thank you.
SSM's Wednesday Global Africa program brings to you our news stories, exclusive reporting, and SSM perspectives on the day. In a world where news flies around every minute, you need the ability to relate and connect with what matters and stay up to date. Schengen Story Media News Echoes program is Africans in Diaspora and at Home's leading English news network, one of the most trusted, respected sources for news updates on current affairs as they affect global Africa. SSM News Echoes Between the Lines is a lively conversation program on news updates every Monday at 8 p.m. UK time, 8 p.m. Nigerian time, and 9 p.m. Central European time, giving real-time updates as they affect Africans all over the globe.
You are welcome. SSM Monday Between the Lines. Raji, you're there. Godwin, you're there. Yeah. George, you're there. And the other will come in. So let's continue with some of the news. Let's come international now. There is a news we're hearing from United States. George, we hope you're following what's going on. The Democrats, after that very interesting debate, the Democrats they're kind of planning. We hope it's not a coup, within their party. But anyway, there's something shaking. But Biden came out early this morning and said, only the Lord Almighty can make him step down from the presidential race. So that means there's a plan to take him off because they say he's not coherent. He's not really getting it right as a president. And George, we want to know what's happening there. The presidential candidate for the Democrats, Joe Biden, looks like he's on shaky grounds. The party probably don't want him to continue the four-year term. What do you have on that, George?
Well, there's been an internal pressure on him to, maybe, step down and allow somebody else, to take over. And but the truth is that, like he said, he will not step down, and he believes that he's going to win the election. And so the thing is this, I mean, if you look at it from the standpoint, some of the donors are actually threatening that if he does not step down, that they will not continue to support him. And some Democrats are on a shaky ground also. They feel like that he will not be a good representation for them to win their seats. But the truth of the matter is Democrats, they have a lot of work to do. I believe that they need to come together. I believe that if Biden decides that he's going to run, let the conversation be the same. Let everybody join hands together, because the point is, to be very frank with you, I know many of us might have diverse opinion over this. I would rather that Biden continue than Trump to come in, because you guys do not understand what is happening in the US. If that man steps into that throne again, it's going to be hell on earth for a lot of people. So maybe another 4 years of grace until that hell drops in America. That's all I'm praying for personally. personally. Trump is my man. Trump is my man. He's my friend. You know, he's my man, but not this time, bro.
The trumpet shall sound.
Biden said
Yes.
he goes through a test, a cognitive test every day, and he comes out positive. The result is good. He's well. He's sane. He's together.
Yes.
Well, we saw it. I saw that debate. I mean, I had to snap off because it wasn't up to standard.
Samak, Biden is marking his own scripts. He's taking an exam that he set for himself and he's marking his own scripts. So he can tell you that he's going through cognitive tests every day and he's coming up tops. But the facts are very, very clear. And the Democrats are in a very tight place now. The first time I saw Biden with his dark glasses, I knew there was something he's hiding behind those dark glasses. And when he takes off his dark glasses, everybody will run away from him. Because he's not lucid enough to lead the United States at this time. Just as even Carter was not in a worse situation before he lost his elections. Carter had a small mishap. He was trying to jog to prove that he was still strong, and he fell. That was enough. That was enough for him to lose the elections. So with the first outing at the debate, you can say anything you want to say about Trump, but Trump came out much stronger with all his lies, with all his posturing, than a very feeble, almost incongruent Biden. The stature of the United States demands that you should have somebody macho as their head.
Thank you, Raji.
Biden doesn't have it.
Thank you, Raji. Fiona, the 81-year-old man used a line, and when people use that line, it comes you want to say, "Oh, let's just leave him." He says, "Only the Almighty Lord can make him step down." Do you think his wish, or what do you think, Fiona? What's your view on this?
So, from a very sentimental point of view, I think it's always sad when an older person becomes frail and feeble and perhaps not as mentally capable as they were. I think that's always a sad thing to watch. And it's especially sad to watch it being played out so publicly. So I think that's the first thing that I think. It's we kind of expect the leader of the free world to kind of be charismatic, to be able to be very eloquent. We expect him to speak well. We expect him to be able to make a lot of sense when he says stuff. We expect that when there's a debate, after the debate, we're all like really excited and we don't really know which way to call things. And I think this was a really unfortunate presentation of his candidacy. The flip side of my sentimental feelings is the sentiment about what happens if Donald Trump goes on to win the elections, which is seeming to be a possibility. People are going to vote brain and brawn over something else. So I think, for me, that makes me quite nervous and quite anxious, But at the same time, in my own good, if I had a company, for example, and I needed somebody, or I need somebody to take me to a destination, I'm not sure that I would willingly want to choose somebody that I felt was not going to be able to make the right decisions in terms of everything to get me there in one piece. So I think it's a much more difficult for we know all the things about Donald Trump. We know about all his lies. We know about his agenda. We know about the things he thinks, and they all fly in the face of the things that I believe in. But in terms of being practical, how do we have or is he going to be supported by people around him who are going to be the actual people running the country, and then they're just going to have this guy as a figurehead? But he can't go. And I mean, we're talking about Ahmed Tinubu, but how is he going to go and represent the country if they have
Thank you, Fiona. Fiona, it looks as if you have some. Did you come with some of your followers to this program? So those your followers are really on you. You keep having the thumbs up. I don't know why.
Okay.
Godwin, yes, Godwin. The last time we saw a situation like this was in Nigeria, and we all went gaga. You know, when our president was incoherent, he was flopping, it was all kind of thing during the campaign trail. And I mean, let's be truthful. That's similar. That's what played out last 2 weeks with the presidential U.S. debate. So, what will you say from Russia?
I would say we in Russia, we respect the will of the American people and do not intend to interfere in the electoral process. Whatever they want, they should decide. But, there are some things that I want to say. Making a statement that only God can remove me, it's in itself, by definition, is not democratic, because it should be only the people can remove me. Because if democracy is the government of the people, by the people, what for the people, then the right thing would have been only the majority of people can remove me. But it seemed that it was God. But God plays some roles, when we don't want to take accountability. But it didn't sound democratic. I just noted that. Secondly, Americans are beautiful people. The country is a beautiful country. And when I see their president, I kind of have this feeling that they can do better than that. Let me put it mildly. So if they believe that that's the standard they want to show the world, where we accept it, we respect it. Can't do more than that. Also,
by the way, can I say something when he finished?
Yeah. Okay, when he finished, go ahead, Godwin. Finish.
Also, when you see an old person at his age, another person going through that torture, I mean, you think about, first of all, you want to throw over some pity, but at the same time, you see that the extent is not enough to call it pitiful. It's abuse, because when people close to him do not say, you are useful to us politically, but emotionally, physically, it's not good for you. You need to you've reached the stage in your life where you need to enjoy your pensions, your family, and everything. And the most painful part is when the wife clap for him. Come on, you did well. Come on, you did well.
Yes.
And I see the desire for power more than the spouse's well-being. And it hurts me to the core. How can you want so much power?
Now, also, Godwin.
Everybody wants to interrupt me. Everybody wants to interrupt me.
No, I think you have already made your point. Let me correct you first. Let me correct you first. Number one, he never said only God will make him lose the election. He said to be the nominee, that he stands on his decision to run. That the only person that can that can talk to him to step down is God, because he is insisting on running. Besides, anyway, our president, who is Tinubu, is older than what's his name? If you really want to tell the truth, Tinubu is older. Tinubu is older than this man. Go ahead.
Some points you've raised now. First of all, what is being said is insinuated that only God can be the major force in determining his decision to step down. However you look at it, if the democracy, by being a government of the majority of people, even if you see any signs that a majority of people want you out, you should make that decision to step down or give them a chance to remove you, because that's the tenets of democracy. And so comparing bad examples and justifying as a reason, it doesn't make it good. I'm not here to condemn America and their choice. I have clearly said that we'll respect it. I wish you know,
unfortunately, you're not making any sense in that particular area. You're not making any sense.
Right.
The man
Okay,
never said, listen to me. No, let's attention to this. No, he's not.
Also,
Because
lastly,
he's trying to put it as if God is the only one. We compare it to democracy. The man is not saying they cannot vote him out. He never said so. He said for me to step down as the nominee.
Yes, that's what
democratically,
he's
democratically,
That's you're saying he compared
what Godwin is saying.
Power hungry. No, that's not true. That is not true. You're misinterpreting
in
what
fact, he is power hungry.
I am saying the sentence insinuates that if in his heart he is not that, it's him, he knows that. But the sentence he has put as gives that message. I cannot tell what is in his heart. You have said he's not power hungry. Maybe you know him personally. I don't. But his sentence gives that image. Also,
he feels like he's able. He feels like he's able. So who are you to tell him that he's not able?
Who has said
he feels like he's able?
You're going off point. You're going like off point. No one said all this.
No.
Then also the last point which you have prevented me from saying is the dangerous, unwavering support we see among both the supporters of both candidates. It's a kind of support that most of them want to be right at all costs. That means most of them, except the independents, most of them will support their candidate to the dying end, giving no room for dialogue in the middle and for logic to prevail, and sometimes what is in the best interest of the country. So I know that they are far right and far left, but the center is not also very flexible.
Yes.
It's not also very flexible, and that's very dangerous for any country because the logic cannot prevail.
Listen, Godwin, you were straight up. You weren't sentimental, no emotions. You said it as it is because I mean it's logical. And to crop it up, it's not just the wife and some of these fans that are clapping. His son, with all the felony, all the allegations on him, is pushing hard to make sure the father stays on. So all of this adds up.
George, if you came out for president and you displayed any sign that Biden displayed, I will call you and beg you to step down. Even if you promised me ministerial position. That's what I'm trying to say. It's very painful to see true friends.
The thing about this whole thing.
Yes, let's take statements are coming in from Facebook, from LinkedIn. We have our regular viewer in this program. Extigen Wireless, Remy Adeyeye. He said that wasn't a debate. He came out to convince me that he should retire. Now, as one of the best presidents we've had to date. I'm a Democrat, but he says that wasn't a debate. So Remy, thank you. You're always frequent here. You're always here. Gentlemen, this is what it is, and we keep watching. But like Godwin said a lot, and I really stay with those. I'm with those words. At a point like this, the old man should be in a retirement people's home, you know. And you
should retire your president of Nigeria before you retire him.
We'll do that.
Playing with his grandchildren.
Oh, my God.
With his grandchildren.
Stronger people to do that.
Donald Trump is not even too far away from him. How old is Putin, by the way? How old is Putin?
You know, it's not just
Putin is a very strong man, though.
Putin is 70 something. He's still in his 70s.
It's not the age we are judging. It's the display of the science and symptoms of dementia.
On the business note. Let's go business. Let's do business. From Nigeria in the business sector, Nigeria is introducing a new mining revenue. The minister says will boost. Make it easy to mine for investors to mine and also boost our mining industry. So Minister Dele Alake has announced new rates for mining licenses, new permits, and it's aimed at boosting the sector's contribution to our economic growth. So gentlemen, one thing you need to know, guys, is that you see that sector, that's one of the richest sector we have in Nigeria, the mining sector. Yes. That sector, because but everybody's eyes, that's the minister there. For those watching, that's Dele Alake. He's doing a lot in his ministry. So he says they are bringing new mining licenses, permits, and everything. And there are reforms coming on also. He says he wants to use it to enhance doing the business and consolidate ongoing activities. So the mining sector, George, you said, of course, I like that because of a truth that there's big money waiting for us in that sector. George, tell us, what do you know?
There's much money, untapped resources for the country as a whole. The point is that particular industry is one of the richest industry in Nigeria. As a matter of fact, oil cannot touch this oil that we export cannot touch that particular area. And the part of the reason why there are a few number of people that are managing and they have stronghold over that particular industry is simply because there are so many things that are happening that we don't even count as our revenue that are just being taken care of by individuals and some groups of people that are taking care of it. But so what you're seeing there is this new thing that they're doing, and I hope by God's grace that Tinubu will be able to put this whole thing in together so that the same way that we're sharing the oil money, we'll share the gold in the north, we'll share the gas money and all those type of things. Because right now we're only concentrating on shipping crude oil, while there are so much minerals in our country untapped, but they're being taken care of by small groups of people and individuals like Sambista forests, Californium, all those little things that every now and again they will come out. Californium alone, an ounce of it is millions of dollars. And yet there are private jets going in and out, and using the Boko Haram to protect that area. And yet money is going in and out of that place. So I hope Tinubu can put it all together and bring all these resources to add to what we are going through right now, because it could help our economy big time.
It will help our economy big time. George, you put this well. I think you are also investing in that sector. Fiona, are you investing in that sector? Or there is a lot there, a lot.
So this is fantastic news, and
yes.
the issue will now be about how is it managed, what is the parity and equity, because obviously it's going to become a boom. So what happens to the local areas where all these mines are going to be? What happens to the people around there? How is it going to be fed back into the local community and then the country at large? Are we going to see the licenses awarded to external companies that will come, rape, pillage, and go off? Are we going to give the licenses to Nigerian big boys, and really it's not going to make any difference to us? I mean, so those are the things that, so I hear that and it's fantastic, but my worry is, will there be any real equity in this whole thing?
Will there be equity in this whole thing? Now listen, some of those minerals we're talking about is what they call rock salt, gemstone. Fiona, I know you want to invest in that. Bitumen, like we all know, gold and lead and zinc and ore, iron ore. Tell us, Godwin.
Godwin, please, we need your analysis on this one, because this is so important to us.
I'm sorry, Godwin. I beg to disagree. I'm not impressed by the excitement.
Okay.
It seems infantile and premature. Unfortunately, because it just as it can be a blessing, it can also be a curse.
Okay.
We have seen the same curse with crude oil, the same jumping and jubilation you're making here, the same jumping and jubilation that was made over crude oil. When you face and you forget, see, look, the managers haven't changed, the players on the pitch haven't changed. It's just the jerseys that have changed, and we're all jumping up. It doesn't make any sense. Now, what are the problems? What we should say is, what are the problems that has made us not to gain, to be the where we're supposed to be with crude oil? What will make those problems not to be with mining?
That's right.
Does it make sense? The problems that made us not to be where we are, we're poor, one of the poorest capitals of the world with crude oil, the biggest exporter of crude oil. For some reason, we intelligent people think that it will be different with mining because it has a different name. It doesn't make sense. So what are those problems, and what are the potential problems we can see? Number one, because these things are exported and pegged in dollar, we're going to have weakening of the currency. We're going to have re-importing of inflation, global inflation. Number three, we're going to export low-skilled materials and re-import finished high-value product, which those things are used to make. Let me give you an example. We export lithium. We're going to re-import batteries, which cost 10 or 20 times more than the price of a ton of that raw material. Going to re-import those that at a more expensive price. We're going to export materials, export jobs, and re-import inflation as an exchange. What has changed? Nothing has changed. Will the corruption reduce? No. If the players are the same, only the jerseys change. It is logical to expect that no revolution has taken place, and the same level of corruption will still be abound. So I don't really understand. What we should invest on is how to reduce corruption, how to increase education, how to even stop. Maybe now we've discovered is stop the export and instead build factories that can use these materials to produce products that we need in Nigeria so that we can be self-sufficient. For example, if we have lithium, what we should be thinking about is how to build battery industries. If we have crude oil, what should we think about is how to build refineries. We should not be prematurely excited over things that are potentially a curse to our economy. I think I've said enough on that. Thank you.
Yes, you know something. I agree with you, Dr. Godwin, but the problem we have also in our country today, if you go to Nnewi today, you could actually, given the opportunity, they can build 10 factories, battery factories in that place. But the problem we have in Nigeria is what's happening now. The people that are capable and have the ingenuity to do such a thing are being stifled. Today, as we speak, if you go to Nnewi, there is no factory, you will not file there, both big and small. The Nnewi, just by themselves alone, can build 10 battery factories that will be on international standard, but they will not allow them to do this. So those are the causes that we're. It's not even for them to do so. Can I say something? Look at the cars we have in Nigeria today. Innocent is there. There is no local support for Innocent. That's number one. Why is it? Because of the part of the country where it's coming from, and that is the truth, whether we like it or not. Okay, now we saw a person who came from the government and talking about that they are happy that we're going to have a car company from Nigeria. Innocent is then when they made that statement. A lot of fire was against him. So these are the things that we are talking about. We have lithium in our backyard. Why can't we develop so that there will be jobs in Nigeria? India refuses Tesla to come in. You know why? They are insisting that Tesla will come to their country and build a factory to assemble those vehicles. That is what we're supposed to be doing. But immediately
we had a deal with Tesla on that kind of thing too, but it didn't work out. Okay, gentlemen. Raji, something. Go ahead, Raji.
Sorry, just to back up to make a comment on what Sir George had just said about India. India's decision was from the eve of their independence that no vehicle is going to come in and their leaders will use the vehicles that are existing. For more than 50 years, Indians were using the vehicles that were imported into India before independence. And they were able to build factories that were producing the same kind of models of Mercedes that had been in the country. And then they improved on it until now they have their Tata, and they are now buying up even British car manufacturing companies and things. So you can't just start being Indian 60 years after independence with something we didn't start, which India started at the eve of their independence.
So let me add to that. Let me add to that. India. Let me just add very quickly. See, it's not only India that did that. China did that, and they were able to double their GDP for repeatedly over many decades. Whatever we are doing now, we are not doing it only for ourselves. We are doing it for our children, our future generation. We are doing it so that we lay the pathway for assured progress, assured development. And whether even if we start today, it's still better than not starting at all.
Yes,
and the fact is that the fact is that you must be very resolute, like China and India has shown. You have to hold these people by the throat, have leverage in your negotiations, just like Russia has done. All the countries that put sanctions, and they say, well, sorry, you get out, the factory remains here, goodbye. You have to make sure you have those leverage in negotiation, hold them by the neck or by the balls, or whatever you call it, so that you secure your development, because nobody is going to do that for you. You have to start from somewhere. And the framework on competition between the regions is also not there. If we have a good regionalization, competition among regions, state control of resources, local control of resources, it will increase that impetus. If a person decides to be autocratic, everybody will leave the state for the governor. I've said it before. If there's free movement of labor and capital, and a state isn't performing well, people will say, okay, you are the leader. Okay, no problem. We leave the state for you. Maybe you can rule the whole state alone. We have to create that environment for competition and progress and utilization of our resources for our own benefit. Only then we can see progress.
So starting now is never too late. At least let's get started. Also, let me say this, Godwin. The excitement we had on this news wasn't because of anything. I mean, it's a reaction. Any new thing, you react, you get excited, then it's now up to the management to see how to go about managing it and doing it well. So don't blame us for getting excited. I mean, that's human. Gentlemen, on this note, let's go out. But while we were planning to go out, somebody came in. Maybe she'll pull the plug now. Yema, what happened to you? You're coming when we're going out. I pulled the plug.
I'm really sorry. I'm really sorry. Can you hear me? Good evening, everyone.
Yes.
I'm really sorry that I joined late. I had some unavoidable implications.
It's okay. Next time.
Tell us.
Well, it's nice seeing your face.
What's news from your end? What's the news there?
Okay. The news. I think there's a little mishap here with the natives, and the Turks and the Syrians. I think the Syrians, like they said, abused a child. So it's been war. The police are everywhere. Everybody's been checked. So that's just the news, and we're being very careful. So that's it, and we hope it comes to an end. It's really serious, actually, to the point that the Syrians had to burn down the Turkish flags. I mean, that's
yes.
Really
we saw. Some of us saw the video. I had the video sent to me directly. Turks fighting with Syrians.
The Syrians, yeah. And now they're saying, leave our country. We don't want to hear you savages. You're uncivilized. Leave our country. I mean, that's the extreme. Why abuse a child? So the age of the child has refused to be is not yet disclosed. But what running down their flags? No, that's a no. With the country that's giving you life, because Syrians had war. The country that's giving you life. You've been here, living here without passport. Nobody's harassing you. You're given a place to stay, and the next thing is for you to burn down a flag because you committed a crime against the country. I mean, we know how bad it is to abuse.
We can't show the video because these days the censorship is so strong. Well, there's that video of both nationalities fighting, cutting themselves with knives, blood everywhere. Thank you very much, Yema. Yema, you pulled the plug. So on that note, we want to call it quit for today. George,
good night, everybody.
Thank you for coming, Raji. Godwin, everybody have made good statements, good news out, insights. Till Wednesday when we come again.
And for those looking for me, I'll be back.
You'll be
for
back.
Sure.
Good evening.
Yes, you'll be back. So thank you, guys. Bye-bye.
Good night.